Alrighty, today we're going to be looking at a walk-behind 14-inch demo saw. This is equipped with a Honda GX390 engine. It's a 13 horsepower Cyclone Honda. We're going to start off by putting our blade on. This is one of our general purpose in-house blades. Start by lowering your guide down. Lift up on the black handle on the back side here. You can see kind of a rubber mount. And then kind of shimmy and lift on your blade guard. Set that to the back out of the way. We're going to start off taking our nut off, then our lock washer, then our blade washer off. You'll notice that this blade washer actually has a little pin coming out of it, and your blade will have a second punched hole coming out of it. Not all blades are equipped with that, so always make sure if you have your own blade that it is one that has that punch hole equipped, or you cannot use it on a walk-behind demo saw. I'm going to put our blade up onto here. This is a 1-inch arbor, not a 20 millimeter. Once we get it up on, we want to rotate it. Stick this on, make sure it goes through the hole, and then line it up with the back hole that coincides. The machine is equipped with 2 onboard wrenches. They're stored right here. We take both of those off. I like to take it, hold with one hand here, and kind of tap that in. Just like so. That way, the 2 blade washers are tight up against each other, and you know the blade is properly seated all the way onto the arbor. Put your lock washer on, then put your nut on, and go ahead and hand tighten this down. Once you have it hand snug, take one of your wrenches on the back side of the blade. It is slotted for it. Take your second wrench onto the nut and tighten them down. You do want to put a reasonable amount of tension on that. Always make sure you replace your 2 wrenches in the back so you do not lose them. Now that we have our blade on, we want to go ahead and reinsert our blade guard over the top. Make sure it locks all the way down, and then we're going to take that black clasp, pull it up, and lock it into the channel. This saw can be used with or without a guide. Personally, I prefer not using a guide. I prefer being able to visually see where my blade is, but you can put this down and tighten the nut here to align it to where your actual cut point is by tracking either off this edge or halfway between the wheel. A few other interesting things on this saw. Coming around the back, you will have your water hookup right here, which it is equipped with a gasket. You'll screw your water down on there. There's a valve here so that you can shut off your water or turn your water on to whatever flow that you want. Traditionally, in an outside setting, I would always have my water at maximum flow, so it would irrigate the debris away from the blade, keeping it cool, as well as keeping down on the dust. The way that you adjust this saw for the height of the blade is right here. By lifting up on this lock, you can twist this. And the more you go in this direction, as the label shows, it will go up. The more you lift and go in the other direction, it will drop the saw down, making it go for a deeper cut. When starting or changing the blade, always make sure that you have the blade face off of the concrete. You see here, you can see there is light enough for me to stick my fingers underneath there. That's what you want. Our next step, we're going to go and actually start the saw. This saw is equipped with a throttle over here on the side, so we want to make sure that we have the saw throttled up, which it is. We have an on-off switch down here on the engine, as well as a secondary on-off switch up here on the handle assembly. Turn both to on. Now for a cold start of the machine, we're going to turn our fuel on. We're going to turn our choke on, which is in opposite directions. Choke is your middle lever here. We're only going to use choke for a cold start. If we have the machine running and it's warm, we just take a break and we come back to it and the machine is still warm to the feel, not touch. Touch burns. We're not going to use our choke. The machine is cold currently though, so we will choke it, on switch is on, and give it a nice light long pull. Alrighty, I just ran that for a second, but once it started, I did go ahead right away and shut that choke off. In extreme cold situations, you may have to feather that choke off over about a 20-second interval, but most of the time in the warmer weather here in Alabama, you can shut that choke off right away. Machine does take straight gasoline. It goes out full of fuel. You do not have to bring it back full of fuel. Oil levels are checked by us prior to sending the machine out, so you don't have to worry about that except for on long-term rentals. Thank you for shopping with ADZ.